Hey everybody, it's Queen Offset Haru. Today I wanted to show you something that's very simple. It is making a crystal grid. So the first thing I'm going to tell you is that number one, the cloth I'm working on is not clean. I would never do a crystal grid that I was putting up that was not clean. So I would use a clean cloth first and foremost. Second thing I'm going to tell you is my nails are not done. So as I'm moving around the board, you're going to see that. So ignore that because I'm going to PR and I'm trying to wait to get my nails done. So priorities, priorities, priorities. Okay, so let me explain this to you. Again, a crystal grid. A crystal grid can be made out of any crystals, basically. If you Google crystal grid, you will see pictures of lots of beautiful grids, and all you really have to do is follow the picture. But because I've been selling a kit that offers a crystal grid, I wanted to give my friends and my clients their own personal video. So this is how you do it. First things first, you look at what you have to use. You have to get an altar cloth, like I said before. You need crystals, obviously. You need a candle. That one is one of my favorites, or one of those, which would actually be better for this kind of work. And let's see, crystals, a candle, and you need a piece of paper for your intention. So the first thing you do is you lay out your cloth, preferably a small one, maybe an altar cloth, something that's by the window or something. You can do a crystal grid at any time, but I like to do them at the full moon or at the new moon because the energy is strongest during that time. Then you need to get a piece of paper. So we need something to put our intention on. Now, because I'm a tarot reader and I collect decks, I use my decks for this type of work. Uh, Today, we're going to work with self-love. Self-love, spiritual love. That's what this grid is going to draw to you. That's exactly what this one is for. So I would work with the Ace of Cups. The Ace of Cups is about self-love, spiritual love, that kind of thing. So I would typically work with that card. This is the Eight of Cups. I'm sorry, the Ace of Cups. And it comes from the Tarot Apocalypse by Eric Doon. So I would use a card like this one. If I didn't want to do that, I could use this one. This comes from the Romance Oracle by Doreen Virtue. It's a card about loving yourself first. So I could use that one. I have another deck. I forgot what this deck is called. It's by Kyle Gray, though. I think it's called, I can't remember. But anyway, the card itself says love and accept yourself. And that's what we want to go for. Again, similar theme. If you don't have a card like that, you might have a card like this one. This is from Soul Cards 2. There's no words on it at all, but the picture on it is giving itself love. Again, it goes along with our theme. And my last card I could use for this is this one. It comes from the Venus Oracle that I got on Etsy. And it says you are one of a kind, celebrated. It's again about loving and accepting yourself. Now, if you don't have cards and you don't collect cards or whatever the case is, that's fine. Get a piece of paper that's the same color as the crystals that you're using. In this case, I'm using white crystals, and I'm using pink. So I use a pink piece of paper or a white piece of paper. You take the paper, you write on the paper your intention. So you could write on the paper something to the effect of love and accept myself. You could write on the paper, I am one of a kind and I celebrate it. You could write on the paper, I am a divine child of the goddess and I love her and myself. Any kind of message that is about loving yourself will fit. Okay? So now you take the one that you've decided that you're going to use. You've picked. I'm going to use this one because I really do love this deck. It's one of my favorites. You put down your card. Your altar cloth is already down. Now you put down your card. Your intention is set. Now you're ready to go. You can build your grid. The first thing we do to build our grid, we took selenite. I always use selenite for the middle of my grid because selenite is an amplifier. So it'll amplify the power of all the other crystals, no matter which crystals you're using. You can pretty much use selenite, and the other one I'm going to use today is clear quartz. You can use both of these pretty much with any grid that you do. So I usually add them to the grid. Selenite to amplify, and clear quartz because it's a healer. So now you have your intention, you have your quartz. Now I would take my rose quartz. Now I have 4 of them, so I'm going to make a little crude grid of 4. If you had 3, you would just make a semi or some kind of other kind of circle. It's all about geometry, so basically make a shape. So now I've done my shape. And I'm going to then, now that I'm finished my shape, I'm going to build from it. So, depending upon how many crystals you have, this is how many you're going to put on here. Now, when I first did this, I did it just like this. And this is the grid that I sell on my page. There's one coming from here. There's one coming from here. There is one coming from here. And then there is one coming from here. Okay? Basic grid. Your grid is now complete. Done. Okay? Let me back up something. You can take a good look at it. Your grid is complete. You put your grid up. You light a candle. I have 2 different kinds here, both of which I like. This one here is only going to last a day. So if I want to do a fast ritual that's only going to last the full moon, I would use that one. If I needed something that I wanted to take more time with, I would use this one. This candle will be lit for 4 to 7 days. Okay, now you've lit your candle, you've put up your grid, now what? Now, every day, you come pray for what you want, for your intention that's on the piece of paper. You come pray for it every day. You stand in front of your grid every day and pray for it. And that's it. That is your crystal grid. When you get what you want, you take down your grid and you can do a grid for something else. Now, because I have lots of crystals, this basic geometric shape is cool, but I can make other shapes. I can add crystals, as you can see right here. You see where I'm adding them? I'm adding them in between where the other ones are. So now I have created a larger grid, and it has even more energy going out. Okay. Now, if I wanted to, if I had the crystals for it, I may or may not have them. Let's say I had some more crystals that would work with self-love. For example, I don't have any out, but if I had some, what is that crystal called? Green aventurine. I would take my green aventurine and put it in between them. And just make the grid bigger. As many crystals as you have is as many crystals you can use in your grid. Now, the ones that I just dropped down, the lapis, I wouldn't use for this because, like I said, we're doing self-love, so I would use all self-love crystals, but that's just an example. So you can use any crystals that help with self-love. How do you find out which crystals there are? By researching them. The crystals for self-love are green aventurine, rose quartz, pink calcite, but there are many, many others. You may be drawn to other ones. So you would research first before you got your crystals, or you just buy the kit from me and use the ones that you have. Okay? So this is our simple crystal grid. It's a very basic ritual that anybody can do. Anybody who likes working with crystals. Doesn't come from any one particular spiritual system, for what I understand. We all used sacred geometry, probably all the way back and maybe even before Egypt. Which was, of course, Kemet. Anyway, I don't need to give you a history lesson. I told you enough about the crystals, and if you want to know more, you're free to let me know, and I'll tell you whatever you need to know, okay? Or at least lead you in the right direction. All right, take care. Bye-bye.